Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalina, and I am here today with the mid-year book Freakout tag. This tag was created by Earl Grey Books and Is That Shammy? And I will be sharing the best, the worst, and everything in between of the books that I have read so far in 2026. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2026? And for me, that was If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This book follows Oliver after he is getting out of jail after 10 years. He was convicted of manslaughter for the death of one of his friends. And the detective that helped put him behind bars actually believes that Oliver didn't do it. And he wants to know the real truth of what actually happened. So it's Oliver telling the story of what really went down when his friend was killed. So this book is very, very, very heavy on the Shakespeare because the characters are all actors studying at like this like Shakespeare Conservatory in Illinois, I believe. And yeah, it was just really, really good. It hooked me really early on. I loved all the Shakespeare references. Like, you have to really enjoy Shakespeare, or at least like not be bothered by it to enjoy this book because it's very heavy on the Shakespeare. But I really enjoyed it, and then the ending really like got me. I actually teared up a little bit at the end. But I just loved reading the book. I didn't have a dull moment for me. Um, and I really just enjoyed it, so I gave it 5 stars. The next question is, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? And for me, that is The Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar by Sonido Reyes. And this book follows Cesar Flores as he is dealing with his sexuality, his new bipolar diagnosis, and his family. And if you're not aware, the first book is called The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, and it followed Caesar's sister um, in the first book, and now we're following Caesar in this second book. And I gave both of those 5 stars. They're really, 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 really good books. Like, amazingly written, such good character work. So you should definitely read them. Question number 3 is, what new release do you want to read but haven't gotten around to yet? And for me, that is Safari Murder Party by Rachel Moore. This follows Fletcher as she worms her way onto the corporate retreat invite list for the magazine, I believe, that she works for. And when her boss dramatically dies, his last will and testament says whoever survives gets the company. So hijinks ensue, supposedly. And I'm really looking forward to it. This is supposed to be really unhinged, and that makes me want to read it all the more. And Rachel Moore is also just like a really funny author. I got to see her when I got this book. Got to see her at my local bookstore, Plenty Bookshop, and that was such a fun evening. And really looking forward to reading this. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And that would be Heartstopper Volume 6 by Alice Oseman. This is the conclusion to Nick and Charlie's story, and I'm very looking forward to it. I have somewhere around here, I have Nick and Charlie, the short story or novella by Alice Oseman, but I haven't read it yet because I want to read the entirety of their story in the graphic novel before I read this little novella. So I've just been holding on to that since I got it for my birthday a few years ago. And I'm just so excited to get to the end of their story and see where life takes them. Next up is Biggest Disappointment. And for this one, I sadly have to go with The Compound by Aisling Rawle. Man, this book, okay, so like I don't typically read books where I'm not going to love them or at least like them. And I really thought I was going to enjoy this book, but I did not. It's well written. I think it's a character study more than anything, and that's not what I was expecting going into it. So it's like it was more my expectations. I was expecting reality TV, Love Island, Survivor, Unhinged stuff happening, and a little bit did happen, but it happened like from the 75% to 100% mark of the book, and the first 75% of the book, I was bored. And that's just not what I wanted from the book. Following biggest disappointment, we have biggest surprise. And for me, that was Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is a fantasy that takes place in its own little world. There is a ton of world building. There's a ton of action. It's a long book, which I don't typically go for. I like to stick to shorter books if I can, but I had been recommended this by a friend long ago, and finally got around to reading it, and I'm really glad I did, because it was really, really good. Like, it was nonstop action, something happening all the time. The world building was really intricate and interesting, and I just had a great time with it. Next question: what debut or new to you author is now a favorite author? And for this, I picked Amber McBride, author of Me, Moth, because I read Me, Moth and gave it 5 stars. It follows a teenage girl who survives a horrific car accident and then meets this boy, and then they go on a road trip. And it really packed a punch. It has that poetic language because it is a novel in verse. And the writing was really amazing. The characterizations were amazing. And then just like where the story went, I was not expecting, and it totally made me cry my eyes out. So I really loved it and gave it 5 stars. And so Amber McBride, I will be reading everything they publish. Following that, we have a question that is, what book made you cry? So I just told you one, but this other book also made me cry. It's called Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrun. This follows 2 former friends who are now rivals and teachers going on a death road trip with their beloved former teacher from, I can't remember where they started, but they're going to like Maine, and they go across country. And oh my gosh, like going into it, because of the subject matter, that it's going to be a sad book. But I was still, because I was aware of the sad parts that were probably going to happen, I did not think I would actually cry, but it got me. It totally got me in the end. Next, we have a book that made you happy. And for me, it has to be Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I just finished this book and I absolutely adored it. The banter between Nora and Charlie in this book was top tier. The situations with Nora and her sister Libby, fantastic. I loved it all around. Gave it 5 glowing stars. My favorite Emily Henry book so far. For our second to last question, we have, what is the prettiest book you have acquired this year? And for me, it's a book I haven't read yet, but it is Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. If you can see here, all the lovely cat details on there, and the shininess, and the fact that it's a hardback without a dust jacket. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Last question: what book do you need to read by the end of the year? And even though I have a lot that I need to read, because I'm doing the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, as well as several other reading challenges, for this I am selecting The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This is a fantasy that is set in a world where there are different houses, each named after an animal, Raven being one of them. And there are these trials. They're trying to find a new king or queen or emperor or ruler or something like that. I don't know the details. I just know I need to read it. I've seen some mostly good things about it, so I want to read it. And it's got another one with a pretty cover. But yeah, The Raven Scholar. That's it for the mid-year book freakout tag from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have and you've made it this far, if you want to comment a confetti cannon, that would be great. And I hope you like the video, and subscribe if you want more. And I will talk to y'all again soon. Bye.